Okay, and mark it A off. And B off. Okay, STD, that's 100%.
STD, copy. OS, how you doing? We're in work. 6-1 for programmed update. Okay. Fuel cells, how you doing on your purge? We're doing okay. Let me know when it's done. Be about 30 seconds. All right. Go ahead. Fuel cell purge is complete. We're ready for the load. Okay, EPD, OTC? EPD. Just fuel cell load between 300 and 350 amps. 715. Go ahead. Proceed to close. Okay. Pilot, can you give me the readings on forward, left, and right on the fuel?
Roger that, coming at you. Forward oxidizer, 9 or 4. That's 9 or 4. Forward fuel is 9 or 7. That's 9 or 7. Left oxidizer is 108. It's fluctuating between 107 and 108. On the left fuel, it's 107. That's 107. Right fuel. Correction, right oxidizer, 107, 107, right fuel, 107, 107. Over.
Roger, I got him. Proceed with configuring CRT3.
Roger, it didn't work.
GPS, go ahead. We verify 0 miscompares on the T-minus 20 dump. DPS is go. Roger. At 7:30, quality.
Stand by 30 seconds. This is launch control at T-minus 11 minutes, 45 seconds, and counting. Everything going very smoothly in the countdown at this point. The booster test conductor ordered the gaseous nitrogen purge of the solid rocket booster aft skirts to begin. The chase aircrafts have been ordered to start their engines, and a check with all the test support team members has verified that they are go for launch. The main propulsion helium subsystem cockpit switches have been configured for launch, and the helium tank isolation valves are open. In just a few seconds, another check of the abort advisory system will be conducted. This is a visual signal that would go to the astronauts if it were necessary for them to abort. We're getting within a couple of minutes now of the final build-in hold that comes at the T-minus 9-minute point in the countdown and lasts for a duration of 10 minutes. One of the first things that will happen in that particular hold will be the retraction of the GOX vent. We're getting within a couple of minutes now of the final build-in hold that comes at the T-minus 9-minute point in the countdown and lasts for a duration of 10 minutes. One of the first things that will happen in that particular hold will be the retraction of the GOX vent arm or beanie cap out of the way. That has been up on top of the external tank. It has warm gaseous nitrogen, which is used to prevent any buildup of ice from the venting of the liquid oxygen tank. At the present time, we're at T-minus 10 minutes, 23 seconds, and counting.
SCP and EPD, how you doing? To about 270 amps.
Stand by 30 seconds. Launch control at T-minus 9 minutes, 30 seconds, and counting. Just a few seconds away now from our final build-in hold at the T-minus 9-minute point in our countdown. Managers are being polled to determine if we are ready to go ahead. We've had confirmation from DoD support that contingency support aircraft and personnel are on station and ready to support the launch. About 5 seconds away now from that final 9-minute build-in hold. We're at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. This is the final 10-minute build-in hold. All personnel in the firing room have been asked to remain seated, and no smoking rule has gone into effect through the launch. We have had a report from the orbiter test conductor, or to the orbiter test conductor, that they are go for launch. At the present time, we know of no major problems as we enter this final 10-minute build-in hold. One of the first events which will occur during this hold will be the retraction of the GOX vent arm, and we are waiting for the command to do that at the present time. T-minus 9 minutes and holding. The Gox vent arm or beanie cap has just been retracted and will be moved to the side momentarily. At that point, we'll have several important milestones still remaining in the countdown. When we come out of the count, or come out of the hold and begin the count once again, the ground launch sequencer will take over command of the remaining events as well as monitoring the shuttle system's response. At T-minus 7 minutes, the orbiter access arm will retract. At T-minus 5 minutes, the auxiliary power units will be started. At T-minus 4 minutes, a purge of the main engines will start. And at T-minus 2 minutes and 55 seconds, liquid oxygen pressurization will begin. At 1 minute and 57 seconds, liquid hydrogen pressurization will start. And at T-minus 28 seconds, the redundant set sequencer will take over. At that point, events happen far too quickly, and readings of systems must be done too fast for humans to perform. At the present time, everything going very, very smoothly. The gaseous oxygen vent arm now is moving back to the retract position, getting it out of the way so that the orbiter can lift off and clear the tower properly. The launch director coming up to speak to the crew. The launch director is talking to his team about the launch commit criteria at the present time. The launch team has been briefed on the way in which a halt can be called to the countdown. During the final 9 minutes of the countdown, and we're coming out, we're at T-minus 9 minutes and counting. The launch events are being controlled by the ground launch sequencer now. That has been initiated, and that will be in control up to T-minus 25 seconds when they switch to the onboard redundant set launch sequencer. The ground launch sequencer is a part of the launch processing system and operates by relaying commands to the orbiter's onboard computers, which then report back to the launch processing system that the commands have been executed. The primary job of the computers is to check that all of the launch commit criteria, such as propellant loads, temperatures, pressures, and other measurements, are satisfactory. The primary chase aircraft have taken off. A third T-38 will take off at the T-minus 5 minute mark. The timing of this plane is such a tight window that a 15-second delay would mean that they would not be in the proper position at launch. The sleek T-38 supersonic trainers have such critical timing because of the small fuel load that they carry. T-minus 7 minutes, 52 seconds and counting, approximately 40 seconds away from movement of the orbiter access arm. This is the final arm which must be moved out of the way to provide for the orbiter to clear the tower properly. This may be a very interesting launch to watch from the standpoint that the orbiter is able to translate slightly horizontally as it begins to lift off, and it also does a roll maneuver which will place it, the orbiter sort of on its back as it goes towards the proper inclination to the equator. T-minus 7 minutes, 7 seconds and counting. T-minus 7 minutes and counting, and we have retraction of the orbiter access arm, beginning to move back first away from the orbiter, slightly horizontally as it begins to lift off, and it also does a roll maneuver which will place it, the orbiter sort of on its back as it goes towards the proper inclination to the equator. T-minus 7 minutes, 7 seconds and counting. T-minus 7 minutes and counting, and we have retraction of the orbiter access arm, beginning to move back first away from the orbiter and then to swing away. This was the walkway attached to the service structure and used by the crew to walk to the orbiter. The crew has been advised to lower their helmet visors. Very slow movement by the orbiter access arm. T-minus 6 minutes, 29 seconds and counting. The crew is beginning the APU pre-start. The start begins at the 5-minute point in the countdown. T-minus 6 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. The APUs are turbine devices fueled by hydrazine, which provides hydraulic power to change the angle of the engines and the flight surfaces on the orbiter. T-minus 5 minutes, 59 seconds and counting. The development flight instrumentation, which measures the stresses on the orbiter during flight, have been turned on, and recorders store information for playback after landing. T-minus 5 minutes, 30 seconds, mark and counting. The auxiliary power units are ready to be started. T-minus 5 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. Coming up on the 5-minute point, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. T-minus 5 minutes and counting. We have had a go for APU start. APU start is in work. This is a start sequence. The final chase plane is taken off. T-minus 4 minutes, 42 seconds and counting. T-minus 4 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. Once we get the APU start, we have a total of 12 minutes of hydrazine supply for running the APUs prior to a liftoff. Everything going very smoothly in this count. The APU start is complete. T-minus 4 minutes, 10 seconds and counting. As preparation for main engine ignition, the main fuel valve heaters have been turned off. T-minus 3 minutes, 57 seconds and counting. The final helium purge on the shuttle main engine. T-minus 3 minutes, 57 seconds and counting. The final helium purge on the shuttle main engine has been started in preparation for engine start. The liquid oxygen replenish system has been turned off in preparation for pressurization of the tanks for the launch. T-minus 3 minutes, 35 seconds and counting. The elevon, speed brake, and rudder are being moved through a pre-programmed pattern to assure that they'll be ready for use in flight. T-minus 3 minutes, 20 seconds and counting. The shuttle is now on internal power. However, the fuel cells are still receiving their fuels from the ground support system for one more additional minute. Coming up on T-minus 3 minutes, T-minus 3 minutes and counting. The engine gimbal or movement check is underway to assure they're ready for flight control. T-minus 2 minutes, 52 seconds. The LOX valve on the external tank has been closed and pressurization has begun. After the tank is pressurized, the hold capability is limited to 3 minutes, 36 seconds. T-minus 2 minutes, 40 seconds and counting. The fuel cell ground supply of oxygen and hydrogen has been terminated and the vehicle is using its onboard supply. T-minus 2 minutes, 25 seconds and counting. T-minus 2 minutes, 15 seconds. The pressure in the LOX tank is at flight pressure. Coming up on just 2 minutes away from launch. T-minus 2 minutes, mark and counting. The liquid hydrogen vent valve has been closed and flight pressurization is underway. T-minus 1 minute, 50 seconds and counting. T-minus 1 minute, 20 seconds and counting. We can see the purges of the main engines as we prepare for ignition. T-minus 1 minute, 10 seconds and counting. Liquid hydrogen tank is at flight pressure. T-minus 1 minute, mark and counting. The firing system for the sound suppression water will be armed just a couple seconds from now. It has been armed. T-minus 45 seconds and counting. Mark and counting. The firing system for the sound suppression water will be armed just a couple seconds from now. It has been armed. T-minus 45 seconds and counting. T-minus 40 seconds and counting. The development flight instrumentation recorders are on. T-minus 35 seconds. We're just a few seconds away from switching to the redundant sense sequencer. T-minus 27 seconds. We have gone for redundant set sequencer start. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15, 14, 13, T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine